Hello, everybody. It's Kathy, and thank you so much for coming back to my channel. I hope you're all having a good day. It's evening here where I am. This is the first in my series of dollar store journals. So I thought it would be fun to grab some items from the dollar store and see what kind of journals I could come up with. And today we'll start with these small storybook journals that I think would be fun. Now I've made the golden book journals. These are cute. They're a little bit smaller. So let's get started. First, you're going to need one of these little Benton books from the dollar store. They measure 5 1/4 inches by 6 inches. And I think I'll do Hansel and Gretel. You're going to need journal paper, and that measurement on the journal paper will be 9 1/2 inches by 5 3/4 inches. You're going to need a binding tools, an awl or some sort of pokey tool, a needle and thread. You need a seam ripper, scissors, glue, double-sided tape, and clips. I don't think I'm missing anything, but I might. Oh, no, I think that's it. Hopefully that's it. Okay, so let's get started. Oh, when I talk about journal paper, I mean scrapbook paper, the thin kind. I'm using ivory colored mostly, but you can use any color you want. A lot of times with the children's books, it really looks pretty if you use different colors. But today I'm not. I'm using a combination of journal paper and some ledger paper and some doilies and some deli paper, and I'll show you that in a bit. Okay, let's get started. The first thing I want to do is deconstruct this little book. Now, these are different than your golden books because the golden books are stapled. These are sewn. Hence you need the seam ripper. You can do it without a seam ripper. I did it. It just makes it a little easier. First thing I'm going to do is bend the book back. You want to keep the binding intact as much as you can. And I just pull the book away. And then you end up with something that looks like this. I want to pull it apart as far as I can because our binding is going to be a little thicker than just this little craft board here. It's going to be about 1 inch, okay? Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my seam ripper and take out the thread. And I'm going to do that. I'm going to get it started. Whoops. Where is my seam ripper? Here it is. I'm going to get it started at the bottom. And then as you would material, it's a little easier if you get inside of it and kind of just cut it away like this. I would imagine that come the holidays, if you're interested in making some holiday journals, that they would probably have maybe some Christmas books at that time of year. And these would make adorable little stocking stuffers. And now I want to get this thread out. There we go. Same thing from the back. Okay, that was easy. You want to make sure you keep your pages in the correct order, so keep them intact. And these books don't have page numbers, so you want to make sure you keep them like this, okay? Next thing we're going to do, we're going to set those pages aside, and we're going to reinforce our binding. Now, I have cut out, if I can find it, I've cut out a piece of craft board that measures 1 by 6. So it's 1 inch wide by 6 inches long. And I'm going to put that right in the center. And to do that, I'm using my double-sided tape first. And I would imagine, because these are such little books, you could probably just use glue. But I had this out, so I'm going to go ahead and use this. And I'm just going to place one piece along the bottom. Make sure it's down really well. And I'm going to take off the non-adhesive part, and I'm going to stick this right in the center. I want to make sure that this book folds around it and make sure I didn't make it too big. And I think it's okay. Well, let's see. It's going to be stubborn there. Could probably make it a hair shorter. So let me do that. I'm going to just make it a little hair shorter. Let's try that again. Much better. Now over that, I'm going to put a piece of reinforcing paper. And this is really thick paper. I get this at Hobby Lobby. It comes in all different colors. I love it. And I'm going to glue that down with regular glue. Hopefully, I'm going to glue that down with regular glue. I am going to glue it down. You done that? I've got so many bottles of glue. Do you think one would work when it's supposed to? I keep a pen and an eraser over here so I can use it. There we go. Glob it with glue. This paper requires a lot of glue to stick down. And then I'm just going to put this right over this. And I'm going to get a, what you call it? Handy wipe? No, baby wipe. And this color doesn't really match, but that's okay. We're hardly going to see it. It'll be pretty once we put everything on it. Okay, this is a little long. Okay, so the binding is reinforced. Now, really should let that dry, but that's okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my pages. I'm going to let that dry for a moment. Take my pages, and I'm going to add my journal paper. So here are my choices. Let me put this back where it goes, just so it doesn't dry out. I have this. I have some ledger paper. I have another piece of that pretty paper. I have some deli paper, and I have some doilies. I'll use probably one. I have 8 pages, 8 pieces of this journal paper, and again, the journal paper measures 9.5 by 5 3/4. Okay? So I'm going to take 2 pieces. First, I like to always start with the title page in the front. Then I'm going to add 2 pieces of journal paper. And I think I'll add a piece of deli paper. Then I'm going to add a short piece of ledger paper. Another 2 pieces of journal paper. Wait a minute. Did I add another page? I didn't. I meant to add another page here. I love the story of Hansel and Gretel. And there we go. And then I'm going to add another page. And I just alternate. I'm going to put this, yeah, I'll put this pretty color here. Well, I'm going to save that, I think, for the center. And then I'll put the doily on it. It'll be pretty. So I'll add a piece of this ledger paper. And then I'll put another page. And, well, I know I have more. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, something happened here. What's going on? Oh, when I picked it up. Geesh, I thought I was losing my mind. There we go. Okay. I was saying, what happened to my journal paper? We'll put another 2 pages. I think that's 3. Oh. And then we'll put another piece of deli paper. Another page. Another partial piece. Another page. And another page. And this. And this. And just like this. Okay. And that's going to go right in here. But now I'm finding, since I put that reinforcing piece, it's a little too long. So I'm going to change the measurements of the journal paper. It's going to be 9 I think we're going to have to go with 9 instead of 9.5. Let me make sure we can do that without cutting the Hansel and Gretel off. Let me find my cutter. I apologize for that. But what's making a journal without making mistakes, right? So let me try on this, because one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to cut the words off. And I don't, I can't take a 1/2 inch off. Might be able to take a 1/4. So let's see. Let me take a 1/4. Let me take a 1/4 inch off. It just stayed in, and a 1/4 inch this way. And let's see if this is going to work. It should work, but let's do it on all the papers. So I'm going to have to take them out individually, or a clump at a time anyway. And we're going to cut a 1/4 inch off. So we're going to make it 9 inches, and we're taking 1/4 off of each side. Take another clump. Make sure I'm keeping my book intact. Whoop, too many pages. When I made the prototype, I didn't reinforce the spine and realized when I was stitching it, it really needed to be reinforced. So hence, that's why the measurements are a little wonky. Okay. Let's see how that works. Still, when they're folded, they're still a little wonky. I'm going to just trim these little ones off. And luckily this book isn't very thick, so doing this is quite easy. Okay, that's better. And then I want to put my heart back in the center. And then don't know where I got these from, but I don't think I cut them. Oh, I put them aside when I said it was too thick. Let me. Okay. Let me find a spot for these. This looks like a good spot. Okay, now we should be good to go. And this is still wet, believe it or not. This paper doesn't dry very well. It doesn't dry very quickly. So, next thing I'm going to do is line up my signature, and I'm going to poke the hole all at once. You may choose to poke your holes in your signature separately, but I'm going to do it all at once because I'm a lazy crafter. I really am. Sometimes I'm not. It depends on what I'm making. Okay, that's not lined up quite right. First I'm going to clip this, because what's happening is it keeps getting off center. There we go. Okay. Okay, next, I'm going to have to put that in a second. Next, I'm going to poke my holes, and I'm going to use, probably have to use both of these. This has a sharper end than my awl, and I'm going to come in approximately, that's about a 1/2 inch from the top. And I'm going to do it standing up because I don't want a, well, actually I'll put my glass back on my desk. When I did it before, I made a hole in my table, and I don't want to do that. Okay, so making sure I'm going right on the center. I'm going to go right in here. You really have to push because you've reinforced it with that extra craft board. So you're actually going through like double. And don't worry about what the back looks like. We're going to cover that eventually. Okay. That looks good. Now we're going to come to the center. And I'm going to do the same thing. And then we're going to come down at the bottom and about a 1/2 inch up. I shouldn't have made that hole. It was too close to the edge. Okay. Okay. So we have our 3 holes. I'm going to take some thread. I already have the needle threaded to spare you my agony. I'm going to go down through the center. And I might have to come back through with the awl because these holes are kind of small. Come on now. Okay, let's see how this goes. Oh, I want my heart in there. Oh, man. Let me go back. It's trying to make a new hole. That means it was off center a bit. Holy moly, this is hard. Here we go. Let's try it again. Now that I have like a canyon here. Okay. Down through the center. Make sure you hold on to your tail. Up through the top. Well, it's slipping out of my fingers. Let me try this again. Okay. Okay, then we're going down through the bottom. Hopefully this goes a little smoother. Okay, got stuck over here. And you want to come back up through the center. And that should be easier this time because like I said, there's a canyon. You want to make sure that your thread is on the opposite side of the center thread so that you have two shorter pieces on either side. Okay, you want to make sure it's tight in the back. And you want to tie, oh, I forgot my, we'll have to skip that. I wasn't thinking. Okay, then you want to trim that. And I want them, I'm going to hang some rhinestones on there, so I want them to dangle just a bit. Like that. You can take off your clips. And there you have it. So the beginnings of your journal. And as you can see, the pages are intact. We can still read the book. It's all in sequence. Okay, that's all we're going to do in this first video. In our next video, we're going to add the covering to our spine and begin decorating. Okay, well, thanks for watching, and you all have a good night. Bye-bye.